So you did it. You went out there and you put yourself out there and you got rejected. You failed spectacularly and you feel so ashamed and so humiliated and maybe even regret doing it. You don't know what to do and you don't you don't think that you'll ever not feel like this, and you think this is going to last forever, and you're so embarrassed and you feel like a failure and you feel like nothing is ever going to go right in your life again. Well, this is a message of hope. Well, no, it's not a message of hope, but like those are steps that you can take to get back to feeling like yourself again, to feeling capable and hopeful, because you are capable and things will get better and you'll get through this. I promise you. So the first thing you're going to do, throw yourself a pity party, okay? Cry your eyes out, like feel the disappointment, feel the humiliation, feel the self-doubt, feel the anxiety, feel so sad, just feel so sorry for yourself, like so sorry for yourself that you failed that test and you totally bombed that interview. Like, feel sorry for yourself, just pity yourself and allow yourself to think all the negative things in the world. Think how dumb you are and how nothing is ever good. Like, allow yourself to think all those negative things. Allow yourself to just pity yourself, be in that moment and feel so sad and so sorry for yourself. But don't make this the last step. Like, this is just the beginning. This is the first step. This is where you're gonna start by letting yourself feel all the emotions and letting yourself think all the thoughts so that you can move through this. Number two, forgive yourself. So you made this terrible mistake and this led to where you are. Maybe the failure was a mistake on your part. Maybe you're partly responsible for this outcome. What I want you to do is forgive yourself. I know it's going to be extremely hard to do this, but in order to move on, you need to forgive yourself. Stop holding this against you or holding it over your head and letting it be this thing that you did and that will always define your character. You are more than this mistake. Just like you would forgive anybody else for messing up, I want you to forgive yourself. Maybe you could journal about it and write down in your journal how sorry you are. Maybe this failure cost your future self an opportunity, and you can write a letter to your future self apologizing and just let it all out and forgive yourself. You know, you are human after all, and you're going to make mistakes, you're going to mess up from time to time, and that's just because you're human. You know, you're not exempt from the human experience. You're not special in that way that you're gonna be perfect and you're never gonna mess up. So have compassion. I think that's a very important thing, a step in learning to forgive yourself. Just have compassion for yourself, what you were going through or what you thought you were doing, or the expectations that you had about this thing and it just went up and turned the other way. So I just want you to have compassion, like so much love for your past self was trying their best. I mean, you're just doing your best with the knowledge that you had at the time, and now that you know better, you will do better. Holding this against yourself is not going to do you any good. Like, if anything, it's going to stop you from trying again and that's not what we want. So number three, you always hear that failure is a lesson. Okay, so I want you to again take your journal, and I want you to write down all the things that you learned from this mistake, like all the things you will do better. Like now that you know what you did, you will do better. Okay, so if you failed a test, you take the past paper. Okay, you think back to when you were writing the exam, to when you were writing the test, and what you were thinking, and the things you struggled with, and the things you need to focus on. So you write those down, all the mistakes you made while studying, and all the mistakes you made while on the test, and you go through your test paper, and you see all the mistakes that you've made, and you take note of that, so that you can implement them in your plan going forward. Okay, so you can take those lessons and implement them going forward. So if you, I don't know, bombed your interview, so you can also reflect on what you could have done better, what went wrong that day, all the lessons you've learned. Okay, so whatever you're going through, like whatever failure you had, reflect on it from an objective point of view. Okay, like don't judge yourself for what you did, but look at it from an objective point of view. What went wrong, like as if you observing from a third person perspective, like what you could have done better. And yeah, so you learn those lessons, and you're going to implement those lessons, so you do not let this failure go to waste. After that, I want you to look ahead, look in the future. Recognize that you won't always feel this way. You won't always feel so embarrassed and so ashamed, and this will not be relevant in your mind all the time, because as time passes, you're going to forget about this. Like if you failed a test in 10 years, that is not going to matter. You are not ever going to think about this, and you're not going to be feeling this way about this test. If you bombed an interview, in 6 years from now, you won't be thinking about that. Trust me. And so, in order to implement, to make this step more practical, I have a list, like personally, I have a list on my Notion that says things that I thought were the end of the world. So I have a list of all the times that I thought my world was ending, and this is it for me. I'm never gonna make it. I just forget about it. This is me. So I have a list of all the things that I thought would end my world. So I have that list, and at times when I fail, I go back and I read that list, and I think about that exact moment, like when I felt, and I felt so in the moment, like, and I thought, no, this is it, like I'm never gonna make it through this. And I look back, and then I reflect on the fact that I did, and I'm here now, and I don't think about that. And I read all through those things, and I reflect back on how intensely I felt the emotions at the time, and how now I don't even think about those moments. And this gives me peace, that I'm not going to think about this failure that I have right now, because I haven't thought about all the others. And so if you don't have this list, you can make this list. So write down everything that you thought was going to end your world. This is it for me. And then reflect on that, because you made it past all of this, of all of those things, and that means that you're gonna make it past this one. And you can take this a step further and write down. So something I also usually do, because I have this list, right? And while I'm going through this failure and I haven't seen it through, I go ahead and add the thing that I'm struggling with. And I edit as if I've gone through it, and it's okay now. And this gives me so much hope that it is going to be okay now. And also something else you can do is write a letter So write a letter from your future perspective, your future self's perspective, as if you've gone through this, you've lived through this, and you're okay now. And so maybe if you're going through a breakup, you can write a letter from 3 years from now. Okay. And then in this letter, you expressing how you don't even think about the person anymore, how you're grateful that the relationship ended, and all of those things. You writing from the perspective as if, you know, it's okay now. It's cool. Like, I don't even think about that test. What are you talking about? So you do that. So you take a timeline from your pick a timeline. So a time that you think, yo, this will definitely not matter. Will not matter. So like maybe 1 year from now, or like 5 years from now, and you think from that perspective. So if you're looking back 5 years from now, and you're looking back at this particular test that you've failed recently, and you write from that perspective, that it's 5 years from now, and you failed that test 5 years ago, and so you write like that, because if your future self is gonna be indifferent from that, they're not gonna be thinking about the test that you failed. They're not gonna be feeling intense those intense emotions that you're feeling right now. So you can write it from their perspective, and also like add words of encouragement that your future self from 5 years from now will want you to know. This does not define me. Your failures do not define me. Okay, things that did not work out, they do not define me. Because if you're going by that logic, then like, why are we picking and choosing? If this particular event defines you, like, why are you not defined by something else? Why are you not defined by the time that you got a 90% on your test? Like, why are you not defined by that time? Why are you not defined by that time that you did your presentation so amazingly and so well, that all the students were congratulating you and the teacher was so happy? Like, why doesn't that moment define you? Like, why are you not defined by that moment that you got awarded for something? Like, why is that not defining you? Why are you not defined by that time that you did very, very well on your interview? Why are you not defined by the time that you got into your dream university? Like, why doesn't that define you? Okay, so if you're not using that, if you're not using those things, I'm not saying those things should define you. I should absolutely not. They should not define you. But if those things in your mind do not define you, then why is this event special? Like, why does this define you? Okay, so these are just events that happened. They mean nothing about your self-worth. Okay, you are worthy and you are a person, and those are just things that happened. They are not that significant. Don't give them that significance in your life and in your identity. Lastly, thank yourself for trying. Okay, you went out there. Like, there was an option for you to not do the thing. You could have avoided the presentation and got a 0%, but you didn't. You went out there and you gave the presentation. You just could have stayed home and not taken the exam and got a 0%, but you didn't. You went ahead and you wrote the exam. Okay, you could not have gone to the interview. You just stayed home, canceled the interview, but you didn't. You went ahead and you did the interview. You could not have taken the project at work when your boss assigned to you. You could have like been, no, thank you, no, I will not be doing that. But you didn't. You took the project. You took on the project, and it is very amazing of you to do that. You should absolutely thank yourself for doing that. I know it sounds like the bare minimum, but you did it. You absolutely did it, and I am so proud of you for that. And I hope you're proud of yourself for that too. And today's quote of the day is by Henry Ford. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout this video. If you want to read more about the topic, I have written a blog post about it and I will link it in the description down below. You've got this. Okay, you've got this.